This MMA 30 segment is powered by The Gun Store. Next time you're in Las Vegas, if you want to shoot a real machine gun, do it at The Gun Store at 2900 East Tropicana.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Forrest Griffin, Stephan Bonnar, Rashad Evans, Amir Sadollah, Schaub, Come on now, guys. 14 seasons of The Ultimate Fighter. These are some of the greatest guys that have ever been on the show. Please, if you guys want, you can start forming lines at either of the microphones. All these guys are going to be open to answering your questions throughout the day today. All right, guys, first off, welcome. If you could, tell us a little bit about your experience here at the Fan Expo in Houston. Rashad, we'll start with you.
It's a pretty good experience being here. I mean, every single time you go to Fan Expo, you never know what to expect. Every city's different. But, you know, one thing about going to the Fan Expo is that you get a really good appreciation for what you do and how it impacts other people. I had so many people come up to me and tell me how much how much I've meant to them just by watching me on TV. And that always feels good because you don't know sometimes because you're so close to it. So it gives good perspective when the fans come up to you and tell you how much you meant to them.
And I always hear from different fighters that when you come to these Fan Expos, you really realize how much the sport has grown and how much it's changed. And Amir, if you could just talk on how much you think the Ultimate Fighter has played a role in growing the sport of mixed martial arts, and specifically the UFC.
Yeah, I think it's no secret. It kind of brought the sport where it is today. I think personally, season one, especially the finale, I think that's what kickstarted it all. Really brought it to the mainstream and kind of showed people what it is. And it's not just two guys in a cage. It's a real sport.
Now, Cole, you mentioned backstage that you actually loved your time in the house. I hear from some guys that they hated their time in the house, but what made you specifically enjoy your time in the house for the Ultimate Fighter?
I can't say that while I was there I enjoyed it so much. We all wanted to leave while we were there, but you know, in retrospect, looking back on things, I mean, wow, what a positive experience. You know, it was all of our dreams to get into the UFC.
Now, Brandon, you went in late, and you'd seen a lot of seasons of the Ultimate Fighter by the time you got into the house. Did you go back and study anything that you saw and say, oh, I'm going to do this or I'm not going to do this? How much strategy was involved on your part?
For me, it was all business. I knew if I did well in the house, I'd set myself up pretty good to have a career in the UFC. And I was an Uber fan. I watched all the seasons, every episode, and I loved it. So I knew all the guys, and I knew what to expect.
Matt, question for you. Was there a lot of egos in the house during your season?
Was there a lot of what?
Egos.
Egos?
Yeah.
I mean, after mine, I don't think there was much room for anything else.
I was talking about you.
Yeah. No, honestly, like most of the people were pretty cool. Most everybody was chill. I was the shit of all of it. So really, I mean, if I was there, it should probably have been a vacation.
And Josh, you kind of latched on to that bad boy image early on, and you didn't have a problem doing anything in the house, pushing people's buttons. How much did you enjoy the process of messing with people in the house?
That's what I do. It's all business, you know. You got to play those mind games with your opponents, and it's a competition. So for me, you know, it's just an added extra incentive to have some fun, you know.
And Forrest, does it still surprise you how much today? Please. Does it still surprise you?
It's sad that reality television is that popular.
And that's kind of part of it. I mean, your season has lasted forever, and specifically your fight with Stephan. Everyone still looks back at that as one of the greatest fights in UFC history.
When I pay my bills to this day, I think about that fight. Hey, I paid this bill because of that fight.
Does it surprise you how much that fight has resonated with fans? Because there's been so many great fights since then.
Yeah, but now I see all these great fights, and I'm like, oh, that might have been better than that one, and I get pissed off. But yeah, no, I don't know. I liked it because it's like being on the show and you have you have training set up and everything, you have an excuse, you have to go be at this certain time, but then you get to go home. Whereas those assholes have to go sit in a house with each other with no music, television, or books and just go stir crazy. So for me, it was great.
Now, Josh, when you came back as a coach, I mean, you don't live in Las Vegas full time. Where do you stay? Do they put you up somewhere nice? And like Forrest said, is it kind of luxury accommodations when you're away from the house?
Nice. We're on budget. No, they put us in a condo up north Las Vegas, And the experience being a coach is like Forrest said, it's way different. You know, you don't have the pressure of fighting. You just can go in there and have fun, and you know, and try to make the show interesting. So from being a fighter, it's miserable, man. You're in that house, no TV, no phones, no girls, no, you know, and you have 16 other stinky dudes that want the same thing as you. The ego's as big as this guy, so you know, it's crazy in that house, that's for sure.
You mentioned TVs, phones, and girls. If you could pick one of those things to have in the house, which one would it have been? Well, I'm just making sure, man. Just wanted to make sure. Hey, Rashad,
16 dudes and one girl. I don't know if that would work. Sorry, Dave. I'd take my cell phone.
be like Smurfette. All right, Rashad, let's go to you on this one. So you were in the house, and your coach that you were against was Rampage Jackson. You guys didn't really get along too much. Did you enjoy the experience when you guys were together and filming because you knew that this is really entertaining the fans? Or was it a pretty painful experience that just happened to be captured on videotape?
No, I mean, it was some days it was good, but like, I remember sometimes I go to practice and I'm like, dude, I swear to God, if he says one more thing to me, I'm just gonna punch him in the face, and I'm about to sort it out with Dana for later on. I don't even care. And I was actually thinking it's a good idea to just like, if you say just one more word, just hit him. And then I talked to Coach Van, and Coach Van was like, hey, Abs, you know what, you need to really think this, because let me tell you what's gonna happen here. If you go on, you fight Rampage, you get kicked off the show, but besides that, the guys are gonna see that you're not setting a good example. So I was like, all right, man, I ain't gonna do nothing to him. But it was stressful because I would go to practice and I'd be stressed because I'm like, I know you're gonna say something. Like, it was on site. Like, they cut out a lot of things that happened, like a lot of our altercations, because it just got to be too much. It was like, whenever we seen each other, it was on site. Like, it was on the popping every single time I seen it.
Well, we've seen a lot of coaches over the seasons get in each other's faces, but never actually come to blows. But in the house, there's been some really legitimate fights. And Cole, I want to go to you on this one. You actually had an experience, well, whenever he's done talking to Stephan. You actually had an experience during your season where there was a full-on, basically street fight in the backyard. Tell us about that.
Yeah, you know, Marlon, Simpson, Noah, and Monster Lobster were all involved in the altercation. Lobster was the referee, and I mean, that was the most entertaining point of the entire, you know, 5th season of The Ultimate Fighter. These guys were going at it, throwing head kicks in a street fight, doing guillotines and armbar attempts. I mean, it was like watching a real UFC fight in the backyard. It was awesome.
They had to pay me a lot of money to go back in that house as a contestant.
I'm just curious, like, as a title contender, like, well, do you think it was fair?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, it paid off. The guy beat, you know, Matt Serra, you know, beat George St. Pierre. So, you know, obviously he was legit that night, and it shows that anything can happen. Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't personally be want to be like volunteering for that show again, but you know, you never know.
Rashad?
I mean, yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, especially with how it worked out for Matt Serra. That you couldn't write a better ending for a story like that. Even though, you know what I'm saying, that was my boy GSP. But I mean, it achieved what it meant to achieve. You know, it was to take a guy who, you know, had a career that was gone, and then you bring him back, and then he won a championship. So it achieved this point, and I think it could work again. But people want to see new faces, you know, and the game of mixed martial arts changes so much. The question is, could a guy that had it, you know, in the twilight of his career, or you know, used to be a good fighter, could he compete with the guys today or the champion today? Because I mean, the guys at the top level is different. It's just a whole nother level.
You can get any kind of food you want within 24 hours. You can ask for a baby bison that's raised in
Iceland.
It's funny
that the heavyweight says that. That was not, like, I was 230. Like, yeah, I did not get to any. I got like chips, and that was it. Yeah.
I'll tell you, for me, the best thing was Kimbo, man, cooking. Not too many people saw it. We could order all sorts of steaks and fish, and he'd grill it up for us. That was the best part of the house.
What's the best dish that Kimbo Slice made?
His honey barbecue sauce, ridiculous. I told him if he opens up a steakhouse, call it Ferg's, and open it in Miami, it'd be a hit. I'd invest in it.
I just heard the other day that the Ultimate Fighter Heavyweight Season 10, the one that burned in that run, that our food bill was almost $150,000 for 6 weeks.
This MMA 30 segment is powered by The Gun Store. Next time you're in Las Vegas, if you want to shoot a real machine gun, do it at The Gun Store at 2900 East Tropicana.